In a world full of noise, we choose meaningful conversations. Conversations that heal, inspire, and build faith. Here at Love TV, we'll be having meaningful conversations, very real conversations, powerful interviews, and faith-based discussions. Here we will discuss family, purpose, relationship, stories, all through the lenses of God's Word. Whether you are young or old, join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. My name is Deborah Baah Quansah. I'll be your host for Real Conversations.
Good evening, everyone. You are welcome to tonight's show. This is Real Talk on Love TV. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube and TikTok. We are Love Community Baptist Church. Tonight, I have two very beautiful and amazing guests. Our topic for the evening is parenting advice from a teacher's point of view. I know that in our various schools, we have the PTA where we are supposed to bridge the gap between the parents and the teachers. But tonight, we want to discuss certain things that you may not see at home, but then there are advices that our teachers can give us so that totally we can have children that are growing in a wholesome manner. And so this evening, I'm here with Auntie Elsie and Miss Nanama. And so our Dickness Nanama, I'll have them introduce themselves quickly. Then we can go on with the conversation. Please stay tuned for a little advert.
Hello, beloved. This is Reverend George Adadikeson of Love Community Baptist Church, Tema Community 2. I am glad to bring you a seasoned word, dubbed Spirit Word for the week. It is going to be your guide for the entire week. It is my prayer that you will connect with us this and every Monday at exactly 7 p.m. on Love TV for a time of impact and empowerment. Hope to see you this Monday. God bless you. Shalom. Bye-bye.
Welcome back. And so before we went on the short break, I was on introducing our guests for this evening. And so, Miss Elsie.
Okay, my name is Frida Elsie Amano, and I'm an educationist.
Okay.
My name is Jennifer Nana Ama Abibio Akwa, and I'm a teacher.
Okay, so I think one said educationist, the other said I'm a teacher. I wanted to know the difference between the two for a viewer watching.
There's no difference.
Okay.
A teacher is also an educationist.
Okay.
I used to be in the classroom. I'm no longer in the classroom,
Okay.
but I'm still with the education sector. So
Okay.
one way or the other, I still impact.
Okay, okay. So I'm sure that's why you clarified it in that manner. And so tonight I want us to have a conversation. I think just like I said, the PTA is supposed to be a platform where we bridge the gap between the parents and the teachers. But if you've been to recent PTA meetings, it's more like parents attacking teachers and then their mode of teaching and all of that. And so we are not able to hear each other because of extreme stories. There are parents that don't want their children to be disciplined at school because of certain stories that they have heard. And so I think this is in a way also preventing teachers from having the utmost power to be able to train their children in the way that they should go. I think I wanted to find out, how do you think governmental policies have affected your roles as teachers in the school? I think when we're in primary, they could cane us and all that, but now it's not the same. Do you think it has affected education positively, negatively?
Okay, so I'll start with to every side there's two outcomes, either the negative and then the positive. For government scrapping out the corporal punishment for students, I would say some way it is good and some way it is bad. Right now, no more caning. So the kids, the way they behave sometimes is very, very bad. Now you see on social media, SHS students, the way they behave. They beat their friends, they do very bad things. During our era, they would cane you. That's one. I remember in SHS, one time we were talking in class, disturbing. And the headmistress walked in and then caned us. And then from that moment, we were quiet for a long while.
Wow.
But right now, you can't go and cane someone's child. It's not done. So it's, in a way, it has affected the discipline, yes.
Do you have anything to add?
So, with the introduction of the free SHS, teachers are not supposed to cane. It was part of the policy document. So teachers are not supposed to cane. And I think the students were aware. And because of that, when they are doing anything, they know they will not be punished. Especially with most children fear cane. When they see cane, they are scared. Even though it is not supposed to be scary seeing a cane. But I don't know why children are scared of cane. So since there's a policy that no caning should be done in school, children do anything and they think they can go unpunished and then nothing will happen to them. But also there are other forms of punishment which I think if we include them, yes, it can affect them positively.
So what are some of those?
Okay, so when I was teaching in the secondary school, there was this particular teacher. He was the HOD for the arts general arts department, and after school closes at 4, and then you'll be made to prep under the tree for 2 hours. So if you are a day student, if you're a border, whichever way, whether a border or a day student, you'll be sad because it's after school that people talk to friends, chats. They have something called parley, so they talk to like the opposite sex and all that. So if you are made to study for 2 hours, yes, and it is painful. So even though it's a punishment, at the end of the day, you get to read something and then it sticks in your head. So
I think that's what a lot of parents are also getting into now. So what they do is they turn off the TV because they know that is what you want to watch, and so they are able to delay your gratification and then still get you. Just like you are saying now, it is not just inflicting pain on the child, but you are giving the child time to also study as well. So for Auntie Elsie, you are a teacher and a parent as well, and so in this conversation you are on both sides. How do you balance it? Maybe in the morning I'm an educationist, and after school I have to come and be a parent to my child. So how do you manage the switching into that role?
Once a teacher, always a teacher. No matter where you find yourself. So you end up playing both roles at the same time. So you are the teacher trying to help them do their homework, trying to get them understand. And then you are the parent, that soft part of you is saying, oh, have it easy on them. And then that same parent, instinct to tell you, you need to know this. You should be able to, I don't get it. But as a teacher, you should understand you have to be easy on them. So when you're home, you play both roles.
Oh, okay. So maybe if you're a gentleman watching, I think it's an advice to you to marry a teacher so that you can get both your teacher and then your wife in one person. I think we had a conversation on Monday. I want to delve a little bit into that. So we're talking about schools and fees and all those things. And what do you think parents should look out for when they are selecting a school for their child? What do you think should be paramount to looking for a school for their child?
Okay. So I would say first the curriculum from a teacher's standpoint. They need to know the type of curriculum that the school runs, so that if they want to go along with it, then they do that. They also need to know the educational level of the teachers there, because it's very, very crucial. Yeah. So that's the things.
Yes.
Okay, so it depends on the level of the child, whether basic, primary, or
let's say
basic.
Basic.
Okay, so basic, I think it's a matter of preference.
Okay.
Or choice. Okay, so I'll be looking at the class size.
Okay.
Class size is one. I also look at the curriculum, as she said. It's very important, and it depends on where you want to see the child some years to come. Okay. Many a times, or in recent times, a lot of parents have criticized the GS curriculum.
Okay.
Being too theoretical, roots learning, so there's the practical aspect of our curriculum is not so, prioritized. But recently I learned the curriculum has been changed. I haven't really gone through it, but I think it has some aspects of project work and learner-centered style of teaching. So if that is the case, then it's okay. So if you want to consider a school that runs GES, that is fine. But if you are not okay with the GS curriculum, then you can opt for schools that run either the British or Cambridge curriculum. Yes.
Okay, so I think that maybe I'm speaking for our viewers when I say this, that I think up until maybe a few years ago, I didn't know there was Cambridge and all those things. For those of us who went to government school, that's all we knew. We didn't know that other people were doing other things that were separate from us. And so maybe there's a parent, we don't understand what the Cambridge is about, what the GES is about. I think you've shed a light on the part where it is more theoretical. However, now they've added other things to make it practical. What is the difference between that Cambridge and then the GES curriculum?
So the Cambridge is mainly the British style of education. Okay. That's those in the UK, and then the UK use. So it's more child-centered. Yes, child-centered. There's more play involved, but they learn through play. Okay. That's what parents need to know. That Cambridge curriculum is not mainly about play, but children learn mainly through play. So the Cambridge curriculum, that's how.
Okay, so I'm sure maybe that has to do with puzzles and all those things, and games and all those things. So let's say if you have two children and one is going through the Cambridge style of the Cambridge curriculum, and then there's one going through the GES, what are some of the differences you notice in the two children?
For the Cambridge, we allow them to explore. Okay. Yes, there's more exploration. There's a lot of outdoor activities that goes on. Yeah. So for the Cambridge, that's what we do. The GS.
So they are more expressive, as compared to
the
GS students or children. They are somewhat timid.
Okay.
In a way, they lack confidence, and then sometimes you have to spoon feed them. Okay. They are not able to come out with initiatives themselves. The creativity is not there. Yes.
Okay. So and I know this Cambridge is nice, and maybe there are parents out there, they are thinking that, or potential parents, they're like, my child will definitely go to a Cambridge. It's not affordable, or it's not that cheap. Let me put it that way. It's not that cheap. So let's say if I'm unable to afford that kind of school for my child, and my child is in a school where the GES standard is what is being taught, how can I ensure that my child comes out creative, comes out having some of the qualities that are in a child who attended the Cambridge? Because I think one thing that I also realized was the children in those schools, they speak English very fast. Like those times the English just comes easy to them. For some of them, they can even stop school at, let's say, class 3, and they can speak very good English. But maybe for those of us in government schools, you finish and it will take you maybe up to SHS to be able to fully express yourself for some of them. And so I wanted to say that if you are unable to afford that kind of school for your child, how do you ensure that your child comes out with those qualities, even though they are in a system where they are being spoon-fed, their creativity is low and all that? What can I do as a parent?
I think right now the internet is everywhere. We have access to the internet. So one thing as parents you can do is to research. Even if you don't know, you can ask someone who knows to help you research, like look at schools or look at things that can make your child more, vocal. They can watch educational videos and all that. Yes. So as parents, you must also research. Try and as much as possible to research.
Okay.
So adding on to what she said, as parents, I won't say the government schools are bad or schools that run the GES curriculum are not doing well. Some schools run both Cambridge and then GES curriculum, and some are affordable. But if you want to go strictly Cambridge, it's quite expensive. I won't say it is quite expensive, depending on it's relative. It might be expensive for you, it might be cheaper for me, so it depends on your pocket. But if you want that standard so that your child could match up with someone who went through the Cambridge system, then you should help your child at home. Yes. The difference between those students or those pupils and GES system students is that, or government children in the government school,
yes,
there's no motivation at home.
Okay.
Yes. So the teacher does well, takes them through everything, making sure they speak good English. They go home. That is not to say they should speak English at home, but they go home and there's no one to there's no continuity. So they vacate, come back to school, and they seem to forget everything. Yes. So as parents, we have to help our children. Wherever the teacher ends, we should continue from there. Then it becomes like a continuum. Yes.
Being teachers or once a teacher, did you have experiences of parents who didn't know what class their children were in, nothing about how they were doing academically? And what do you think, what was the effect on those children? You've spoken about continuity. That's why I want us to delve in on it. There are parents that they don't even know what subjects their child is doing. There are parents that don't know the courses. I think when we're in SHS, a parent could come on visiting and doesn't know the course the child is offering in school. So what do we have to say to that, and how does it make your work difficult as a teacher?
Okay. So as parents, you must really be involved in whatever your child does at school. I've had instances, as you said, where parents don't even show up for PTA meetings. Yeah, as we call it PTSC, Parent Teacher Students Conference. They don't even show up. So sometimes you have some kids lagging behind, and the parents don't show up. So you don't even know what to do to help the child again, because the parent didn't show up. You don't know how to communicate what the child is not able to do. So as parents, everything concerning your child, you must try as much as possible to be involved. If there's a PTA meeting, and even if you are not able to make it, at least get someone in your neighborhood, a relative, a friend, to step in for you so that the teacher can communicate. It's a three-way street. It's between you, the parents, the teacher, and then the child. So it's important that you must be involved.
Do you have anything to add? She has said it all. And so, looking at that, let's say I'm a parent, I'm very busy and all of that. I travel here and there, and so I'm unable to do that for my child. I think that we are learning today that your child is supposed to be your priority. What you have to give to your child is not just the money. There are some parents that feel, oh, I'm done paying the fees, I'm done with you, but it goes beyond just paying the school fees for the child. And so I wanted to ask about, let's say I've sent my child to school, or the feedback from the teacher is that my child is not doing well academically. How do I help my child? What are some of the things I can teach them at home? What are some of the exercises I can do with them at home that can help them academically? That is for a parent that is willing to help their child.
Okay. So sometimes you need to get the help of the teacher. So you ask the teacher what you should do. The teacher is the one who is working with the child, so he or she knows best where the child is lagging. So you ask the teacher, and then if the teacher gives you, maybe you have to spend more hours with your child in this area, then you do that. You can also get additional books that would help your child in the areas that they are not doing well in. You can also let some of their friends who are doing very well teach them. We call it peer teaching. It also helps. Sometimes a teacher can explain something to the child will not get it. But a peer can explain it in a way that the child will get it. So sometimes you need to fish out the good students in the class, and then talk to them. You have to talk to their parents first, and then talk to them to help the child. So that's what you can do.
Okay, so early on in the discussion, we mentioned that children learn through play. So as a parent, you can also engage in play that will foster interest. Some just don't have the interest. So if you start by reading with them, doing puzzles with them, they'll develop their interest, and then eventually they'll even want to study on their own if you are not there. Yes. Okay. You can also get them private teachers at home to help, especially if you know where they are lagging. Yes.
Yeah, because I think just this morning I was having a conversation with someone, and he said his child was doing very well, very good, and then along the line, due to health issues, he started going easy on the child because, oh, don't stress yourself. And now the child, do your homework, I'm sick, do this, I'm sick. And then now the child seems to be lagging behind. How do you help a child that is capable of doing it, but it looks like there's something holding them back? It's laziness, it's something that you can't really tell. How do you help that child get back to that point?
Okay, so sometimes it's all about motivation. I have students in my class, they'll tell you, you give them an exercise, they'll tell you they can't do it. There's a rule in my class. I always tell them, in this class, we don't say I can't, we say I can. So it's there, I can do it. So that's the first rule in my class. Immediately you come and you say I can't, I tell you what is the rule. The rule is I can. Yes, so you can. So sometimes you need to psych their minds. You need to motivate them, tell them that they can. And it really goes a long way. Like, you see that when you tell them they can, they are able to do it, and then they do it, and then they have this happy, face, and
they were
yes.
able to do it.
So motivation is key. You speak to them. You tell them that they can do it.
Sometimes you can use their favorite, maybe television show, favorite food to motivate them. So if you do your homework, or if you're able to read up to this page, I'll give you this. I'll make you watch Paw Patrol. I'll make you do that. And once the interest is in the Paw Patrols, it will motivate them to learn or do their homework. Yes.
Okay, so if you have, let's say, 2 children, and I'm coming from now, we are in a world where mental health too is becoming like very, very important, and people are talking about it. Let's say I have 2 or 3 children, and then there's 2 doing well, 1 not doing well. Mental health will tell you that if I set up a reward system and I leave that one out, they may struggle with inferiority complex and other things. As a parent, how do I do that reward system? But if I have not just 1 kid and I have 2 children, I don't make the other person feel like they are worthless because they failed an exam, or they don't deserve a gift because they failed an exam. How do you balance their mental health and then you trying to instill discipline in them?
Okay, so you can decide not to reward any of them.
Okay.
But the one who didn't do well, you can make them feel good.
Okay.
Oh, Nana, you did so well. 82 is good. But you could get 100. So I'm hoping next time you get 100.
Okay.
Yes, mommy. I'll get 100%. Yay. So you can commend whatever they've done, just commend. And then hope that they will do better. Yes. Sometimes if they feel like, no, my sister got 100, I didn't get 100. My sister got this, I didn't get that. They themselves, they will feel they need to pull their weight to get better grades.
People normally say gentle parenting does not work in Ghana. Because sometimes when I've seen videos where the parent is like, oh, stop it, and the tempo is going high. By the last tempo, the child now understands that I am to stop it. So I think what you are all saying is balancing it so that you don't fall on one side all the time. The times where you have to stand as a parent, you do that. But bear it in mind that when you realize you are relying on one side a lot, maybe you are always rewarding them, maybe you are always giving them what they want, and you know that no, that is not the child that I want to raise. You should be able to give them that reality that the world will not just get up and but then it gives you what you fight for. And so I believe motivation, just like you said, has helped them. I want us to talk about education and let me say the medics or medical sector. For instance, are there, let's say, things that affect children that are beyond their books, beyond spending time with them, beyond PTA meetings, beyond the motivation? Can I do all these things and still end up with a child that completely doesn't get it?
Yes. There are times like that. Some children have learning disabilities. So with that, you need a professional, help. There are those with dyslexia, there are those with dysgraphia, there are those that can't, they have speech problems. So with this, you need professional, like professional medical help, so that where you can't do anything, they would come in and then help. So sometimes you can't diagnose it, so you need to go to, when you see that you've done everything and nothing is working, the best thing to do is to seek medical advice.
I think you've mentioned some of them. I've not heard it before. I know that dyslexia is dancing letters. There's even an
You can't identify.
Yes. So as a parent, maybe if I'm saying I want to get to a point where I've known that I've tried, maybe at that point things would have been worse. So what are some of the little things that I can see at home, and then I'll know that I need to pay attention, or I need to seek medical help with my kids?
Sometimes, as parents, we might not notice on time. That is where the teacher comes in. So it is always best to liaise with the teacher to make both of you work easy. Okay, so in class, there are some pupils or students whose train, or sometimes when they are reading, you tell they can't see. They mispronounce words. So if it's not a learning disorder, then it could be a medical issue. Some of them really do have issues like eye problems, hearing problems. And if the teacher sees it and tells you, sometimes they can only tell you when you are close to them or when you often inquire about your child's performance. Okay, so I've had a conversation with a teacher, a class 1 teacher, and then she tells me there's a boy in her class. She noticed the boy was always training and his handwriting was very bad. So she noticed, no, this is not. So from the onset, you might shout, be the child, and I'm sure the parents might have, why are you writing like this? Why are you writing like that? No, you need to write with the margins and all that. Until the teacher realized, no, the guy has a problem with the eye and was sent to the hospital. And truly, yes, he had an issue with the eye.
So yes, as you said, as a teacher, you must be observant. Yes. You must really know every student in your class, everything they do, the way they write, the way they talk. If they are very vocal, you must know everything concerned about your students. You must know everything. So if you see that a child keeps turning all the letters, every letter, yes, there are some people like that. They keep turning it or writing it upside down continuously. Maybe, yes. Sometimes they invert it, they turn it, yes. So when you see that continuously, then you must also inquire from the previous class if they had that issue. If yes, then that means it's something that is like a pattern. So then you need to tell the parents so that they can get a check. Yeah. So that's what you have to do.
I think this evening, maybe if you're a parent and you feel like your teacher hates your child or something, this is a time where you have to be best friends with, because there are some that as busy as you are, probably maybe the nanny does the homework with the child and the nanny too is tired, so she ends up even writing for the child. So about turning the letters and those things, you may not realize it as a parent. So it is important that you are in constant communication with the teacher to find out how your ward is doing, how they are doing academically and all that. But there are some parents that feel like their child was beaten by a particular teacher, so it means that the teacher doesn't like their child. But if there's anybody that knows your child aside you, the parent, it should be the teacher. Let us talk about, okay.
That's not to say every form of disorder is going to stay forever. Okay. There's some level of dyslexia that's okay.
Okay.
Yes, in the early stages, like 2, 3, it is normal. B, do right D, D, do right B. It's acceptable until it gets worse, or in subsequent year with time. If it's still like that, then you can seek help. But that's not to say if your child is 2 and a shy, you have to be hard on the child. No.
It's very good you said this, because I'm sure there's a parent with a 1-year-old now that is like, tomorrow I'm taking you to the doctor because I don't like how you are writing. But I think, just like I say, tracking it and seeing if it's not just something with their age, but it is going on with time. So you've mentioned the Lord, they turning the words, and then like, is it from their play and other things? You spoke about the child being vocal. What if the child is naturally introverted? How am I able to tell that this is a problem or this is just who the child is?
Okay, so there are people that are naturally quiet. In class, you see that they are quiet, but they talk. When they are kids, when they are with their friends, they talk. No child is really that quiet when they are in class. When you sit back and observe, you see that they talk, all of them. Even some, their parents come and then they're like, my kid doesn't talk at all. I'm like, you wait and see. I'll take a video and then send it to you. You wait and see. Your kid can really talk. So sometimes it's not that they don't. It becomes a problem when maybe they are not making, the speech is not really, really clear. You know, sometimes the speech doesn't come out well. That is what I'm... Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what you must look out for. Maybe the speech pattern isn't so clear.
Let me take us back to, let's say, there are people that believe that intelligence is inherited. I think there are people that even say that, oh, if you marry an intelligent woman, it means that from a teacher's point of view, because science can say something that first-hand experience with children is not like that. Have you come to believe that, let's say in your various schools, you hear that, oh, this one's mother is, let's say, a doctor, this one's mother is a teacher, and then you feel like, and they're shark pan and then the child seems to be doing something different. How true do you think that statement is?
Well, the medics say it is inherited, but sometimes in the class you have people with, parents that are doing well academically. Maybe they are medical doctors, they are lawyers and all that, but then you find that the kids are struggling to sometimes get a simple concept. So it's not always true. It's not always true. Sometimes you have to work on the child, like continuously teach the child before they can easily get a concept.
It's a matter of nature versus nurture.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So if it's nature, it's inherited. If it's nurture, the environment, the child's orientation will determine how the child turns out. Yes.
Okay. So just like I was saying, there's a way the environment also affects what your gene is made up of. So as we are closing on tonight's discussion, what are certain things that parents are doing and in their sides it is giving the best to my child and actually it is ending up affecting them? Somebody said that sometimes when you struggle in life, you want to give your child everything that they want. So your experiences with parents that think that this thing that I'm doing, I'm giving the best to my child, but that thing that they are doing is rather the death of their child.
Okay, so screen time.
Okay.
Most of us parents, especially first-time parents, when they are overwhelmed, they think, let me just give the phone or make him watch TV and he'll keep quiet and I can also do my thing. Yes, so screen time is killing. Even though it has helped some, but too much of it and then introducing it too early in the child's life could be a disadvantage. Okay, so even though technology is good, the question we're asking is, have we used it to our advantage or to our disadvantage? Yes, so I think after 2, if you introduce screen time, it's okay because the child gets to interact with the environment better and it affects their speech positively. They're able to speak well, articulate, compared to a child who was introduced to screen time early, let's say before 1. Yes, they don't pay attention to anyone or anything around them. Yes. So
you should limit the screen
time. I think sometimes as parents, it's like we are afraid to, should I say, discipline the kids? Yes. It's like we want to give them everything. Everything. Sometimes we don't withhold back anything from them. I know sometimes it's a struggle to get them. So when you get them like that, it's like you want to give them everything that you didn't have. Yes. So sometimes it has to be limited. limited. It's not everything you give to your child. Sometimes you have to learn to say no. There should be a yes day and there should be a no day. It should be balanced. It shouldn't be like, I want this, then okay, yes, you give it to them. Sometimes you have to tell them, no, I won't give it to you. This is not, yeah. So
yeah, so you've mentioned some negative things that they are doing. What about some positive experience you've had with parents that you think what they did is worth emulating by other parents? Maybe you've seen a parent show up for a child in a certain way, and then you feel like this is something that all parents, if they could, should emulate.
Okay, so there was this one parent in my class. She follows everything that the child does. If the child is supposed to learn this topic for the coming week, she will make sure she gets the topic. She goes through with the child, and then any resource that the child needs for that topic, she will provide it. So sometimes as parents, that's little effort to know what your child is learning is very crucial. It's very important. Even if it's just a day, you take a day and then find out exactly what your child is learning in school, what is happening. You must do that. You must constantly be in communication, sometimes with your child and then your child's teacher, to know what they are learning.
Okay.
Adding on, I would say speaking the mother tongue with the child at home also helps with the child's speech and then communication. And then even understanding the English language, which they use in all subjects. Okay, most of the time, we parents, we think, so they speak English. Reality is, but for now, I can't cry.
Somebody said, Mommy, the remote, she swear.
So, but for one and now, when they can't feel no, or do school and one of our and it's difficult to correct. Language acquisition happens right from child, like the early stages. Okay, so if you are speaking the mother tongue with the child, they understand. When it comes to English, they're able to translate that, and it helps them to understanding. So in as much as we want our children to be, expressive, articulate in the English language, we should also introduce the mother tongue. Yes.
Okay, so tonight this is where we close in on the conversation. I've learned so much, and I know that parents out there have also learned a lot. Those who checked all the boxes and said, oh, I'm doing all that, God bless you so much. And maybe if you found 2 or 3 things that you want to do better at, I think that it's a good time. It is never too late for you to show up for your child. I think some schools are on vacation, so maybe next time you try and find out the teacher, speak to the teacher, and then be there for your child. Do you have any closing remarks, anything you would like to say in closing?
I think you've said it all.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Be intentional and then be there, show up for your child. Yes. Liaise with the teachers.
Okay. Thank you so much. And so please do well to share this video, leave a comment, follow all our pages on social media. I think on Monday 7 p.m. we'll meet for Spirit Word with Reverend George Adadikesin. See you next week on Saturday at 7 p.m. for another edition of Real Talk. Thank you and have a good evening.
In a world full of noise, we choose meaningful conversations. Conversations that heal, inspire, and build faith. Here at Love TV, we'll be having meaningful conversations, very real conversations, powerful interviews, and faith-based discussions. Here we will discuss family, purpose, relationship, stories, all through the lenses of God's Word. Whether you are young or old, join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. My name is Deborah Baah Quansah. I'll be your host for Real Conversations. In a world full of noise, we choose meaningful conversations. Conversations that heal, inspire, and build faith. Here at Love TV, we'll be having meaningful conversations, very real conversations, powerful interviews, and faith-based discussions. Here we will discuss family, purpose, relationship, stories, all through the lenses of God's Word. Whether you are young or old, join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. My name is Deborah Baah Quansah. I'll be your host for Real Conversations. In a